Now, Donald Trump says he wouldn't be bothered at all if the report by Special Counsel Robert Mueller was released in full. That report concluded that neither Trump nor any of his officials knowingly colluded with Russia during the 2016 election campaign. But the report didn't draw a conclusion on whether President Trump attempted to obstruct the course of justice. Democrats are calling for the report to be released in full. And the Republican chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee says he wants the Attorney General to appear before the panel to discuss the special counsel's report.
What's next, I hope, will be that he'll come to the committee, release as much as possible of the Mueller report. What are the things that can't be released? Grand jury information is prohibited by law from being released because it would compromise the grand jury process. He, in his letter to me and Senator Feinstein and others, said that he's asking the special counsel team to help him with the information that may be covered by the grand jury statute. Classified information, I don't know how much, if any. That would be something you'd have to think about.
Patty Culhane following this one from Washington, D.C. Is that significant, Patty, that a Republican, that Lindsey Graham wants to take this further and wants the Attorney General to appear before the panel, or really does this all sit with the Democrats now?
It really, I think, is going to be led by the Democrats. Lindsey Graham, himself a lawyer, didn't highlight the fact that that's in fact not true. There is a law that says grand jury testimony cannot be made public, but there is an exemption if a judge says it can be. Likely that would mean House Democrats going before the judge that oversaw the Mueller grand jury and saying, we want you to make it public. The judge can do that. The Trump administration can try to block it, can try to claim executive privilege, but there is a path to finding out what was said in the grand jury. Now the question is, how much is Barr going to release? Now, during his confirmation hearing, he said that he would be transparent, but he is being slammed by Democrats who say Bob Mueller couldn't come to a conclusion on obstruction of justice over 22 months, but you decided within 2 days that there couldn't be obstruction. And he said in the past that the president of the United States can't actually ever commit obstruction of justice. So we're going to see the Dems move quickly, I think, to try and get Barr to testify. If he won't, they're probably going to ask Robert Mueller to do so. And they're going to wait and see if he tries to slow roll a release of whatever information is in the Mueller report. But I can tell you right now, it's pretty surprising, or maybe it's expected. Democrats are nowhere to be seen in Washington. They're not going before the cameras. But the Republicans are doing basically what you could probably describe as a pretty loud victory lap.
This is what I wanted to ask you about, the fact that we sort of can't ignore that it is a win for Donald Trump, and it is something which I'm sure he will remind us of over and over again leading up to November 2020.
He will, but I think it's also important to remember that during the 2018 elections, when the Democrats took back control of the House, lost a few seats that was expected in the Senate, none of the voters in the polls were really saying, well, it's the Robert Mueller investigation. That's what's really driving me to the polls. You saw them talk about things like health care, the economy, college tuition, the deficits and debt. He's going to try and make this a campaign issue. At least that's what they're going to say right now. But let's remember, this is a 4-page letter from the Attorney General. This isn't the tens of thousands of documents that Robert Mueller and his team have. Some of that information could be damaging to the president. So I think there are probably a few Republican strategists who are telling Republicans maybe don't do so much of a victory lap because you never know what's going to come out next. But right now, this is a win for the president. He says no collusion, and he is really trying to put the focus on trying to investigate the people who investigated him in the first place.
Patty Culhane in Washington, thank you.